Hey guys, LootWizard here with another video on Gems of War, and yes, it is that time of the week again, and we are going to be going over the Soulforge here, weapons, troops, and we have a new event going on, so let's get right into it. We're going to check out the weapons first, go to troops, then we'll get the new troop and for glory, and then we're going to go check out the event. So for weapons, we have the Blood Drinker and the Chalice of Eyes. Now, there is also a doomed weapon in the shop here, but these runestone weapons, I haven't been really too impressed with them. They're not really that powerful, so I would skip trying to craft that unless you're trying to collect all the doom weapons, that is. But there is better doom weapons to get. So looking at the Blood Drinker and the Chalice of Eyes is the event weapon. So you can get this weapon over in the event shop for gems, and so that's what I recommend to do for this, because you want to save your jewels and your diamonds for something that you can't get with just gems. But the Blood Drinker might be a weapon to consider. It does damage to an enemy and it steals half of their attack. Now the way to use this weapon probably will be to target the enemy that's always at the top of the team. That way you can always remove their attack and add it to yourself. Stealing attack will add it to your hero. So that might be a good weapon to get. I might consider crafting this one. But it does cost 600 red and purple jewels, which is quite a lot. So yeah, that I wouldn't recommend doing it if you're trying to save up for a mythic troop, but because there is better weapons than this. But if you have the diamonds and jewels to spare, then that might be something to get. Now, going to troops, we're going to go through the summoning stones really quickly here, like usual, and then we'll go into the legendaries and mythics. So for Blue Day, I really don't think there's much here. Lucifria is a possibility. Not only is it one of these event weapons for the raid boss, but there is something unique about it where it will burn all enemies when you cast it. So if you are trying to use the Fireblade talent on a class, there are certain classes, once you get them to level 100, there's a Fireblade talent. You will do triple damage, skull damage to an enemy that is burning. Now there are other troops in the game that will burn enemies, but this one burns all enemies every time you cast it. So just for that alone, it might be worth trying to get that one if you don't have it. Giant Spider is a great mana generator, but you should already have that, because you can get it early on in the game by completing your quest line. And I don't know if it's a quest reward or it might just be something that you get as a reward for putting gold into, I think it's Zulkari, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, you're going to get that troop early on, so there's no reason to spend jewels on that. For Green Day, yeah, I just can't really recommend anything in there. This is an event troop, but you probably shouldn't be spending these summoning stones on troops that you're going to get eventually by opening keys. Now, if there's one or two troops that just really has not dropped for you and you're over level 1000 and it shows up in the summoning stones, then you might want to try to get it here. Yeah, nothing in red, yellow. Yeah, the only troop here would be like Corpse Mare. This is a bounty troop. It is beneficial to have these troops at Mythic because you'll get a higher bonus based on its ascension. And this is one of the best bounty troops in my opinion. I love to use this troop during bounty events because it steals life, so it's basically doing true damage. But it can boost that life that's being stolen by how many skulls you destroy in a row. So this is one of my favorite bounty troops. That is a troop probably worth trying to get to Mythic. Vlad the Unsated is actually a pretty good troop. It will steal life from an enemy boosted by its life. So every time that you cast it, it's going to increase its own damage because its damage is based off of how much life it has. So that's probably a troop that you could try to get in here, but it's not a game-breaking troop. I don't know if I would waste the jewels on that. Now, for the last one here, Brown, we do have a pretty good troop here. Moira Craighart is an excellent troop, even though it is a raid boss event troop. There's the thing down here, convert green gems to doom skulls. That is very powerful. Now, if you have a way to create more green gems on the board, this troop is going to be really powerful in a team. Plus, it's immune to stun, poison, disease, death mark, and devour. So those are all really great things. Low mana cost. It's only 12. So, yeah, convert green gems to doom skulls. That converting to doom skulls is usually something that only the doom weapons have, which costs 18 mana. Or, what else is that? Glaceon and King Bloodhammer, I believe, do doom skulls. But those are still pretty high, like 16 to 20 mana cost. This is only 12, so it's pretty low mana cost. You can convert green gems to doom skulls. That's probably the best troop in all of the summoning stones, honestly. At least for this week. So moving on to legendaries here, there's nothing really that good. We have Spring Imp, we have Dracos Elite 1337. But I mean, this troop it silences, it stuns, it drains mana from an enemy, and it has 25% chance to do lethal damage to them. So I won't say that this is a bad troop. I just don't use it that often. I feel like it's pretty. It's not doing any damage except for that 25% chance of lethal damage. I would not waste 800 diamonds on that troop. Queen Isabella is a good troop, especially when you pair it up with something like Mang or King Irongut, maybe. But, you know, I wouldn't waste 800 diamonds doing that either. Gru's the Undefeated. I don't think I've ever used this legendary card. Deals damage to an enemy, and then it curses them and inflicts 2 to 4 stacks of bleed. So curse is good sometimes, but you know, the damage there's legendary cards, in my opinion, it's just way better than that. So definitely not worth the 800 diamonds. Now, moving on to mythics. We have Plague, Pharos Ra, Queen Aurora, and Undine. So those are the 4 mythics this week, and I'm going to say it right now. The best ones are Pharos Ra and Queen Aurora. I wouldn't worry about Plague or Undine. I already have Undine, and it is not good. Not that good at all. Plague, I don't own it, so I'm not going to say it's bad, but I barely see it ever in PvP. So that probably says something about the current state of the game and where that troop is right now. But Pharos Ra is the King of Souls. You definitely want to get this troop if you have the diamonds for it and you don't have it yet and you still need a lot of souls. This troop, if you're going to have to unlock the arcane traits here. But gain 150 bonus souls from battle. That right there, the Necromaster, is amazing. Plus, it will do a lot of damage. It's a 1-to-1 boost ratio based on how many total souls you have. And with Pharos Ra in a team, you can get close to, like, I don't know, 200 souls probably. So that's going to be the total damage that it would do when you cast it. Plus, it's going to transform yellow to purple, so it's generating mana for itself. That's a good thing. Now, Queen Aurora is not a damage troop. It is a support troop. And it's one of the better support troops in the game, but I won't say that it's really worth crafting early on, simply because you can just get way better troops than this for early on in the game. Now, later on, it can be very useful in some teams. What it's going to do is it's going to give all other allies barrier, it gives them life, and it creates 10 gems of a chosen color. and in its final trait, it'll gain a bonus mana to all gem matches. So Rainbow Link is what it's called. Now, most of those other troops, a lot of them have a different type of thing on there, like Magic Link is for a bonus to purple mana. What Rainbow Link is doing is giving a bonus to every single color of mana if you have this in the team. So, great support troop, but Pharos Ra is definitely the one to craft. And I think we just had Pharos Ra like 2 weeks ago. So, those of you that missed Pharos Ra 2 weeks ago, hopefully you're able to save up enough diamonds in those 2 weeks. Hopefully you had saved almost enough to craft 2 weeks ago, and whatever you crafted then, you'll have some extra in these 2 weeks where you could craft this one. But yeah, that's my opinion on the weapons and troops there. So let's head over to the shop. Let's see where they changed this now. So I'm a little confused at where the new troop is. Where is he? Here he is. So weekly event, that's where it is now. It used to be like glory rewards up here, and it used to have the spoils of war and the new troop under that one tab, and they changed it. So I don't know why. It's kind of strange, but so this is the new troop we got, Blind Guardian. It will drain up to 10 mana from an enemy, explode 1 gem for each mana drained. So yeah, and it's a mana draining troop, and it will explode based on how much mana it drains. Now it says drain up to 10 mana. I'm going to have to test it out, but I would really like it to just drain, 10 mana, or if a troop is less than that, it'll drain all of that mana. Drain up to 10 mana. What if it only drains 1 mana and explodes 1 gem? Like, how disappointing will that be? It's just like, I don't know. I probably won't use this troop much, but I might play around with it a little bit. But now's a good time if you need the Arcane Plains trait stone. Now's a good time to get it for the low cost of 300 glory. You can get one of these Arcane Plains trait stones for that cost. So I'm going to go ahead and buy a bunch here. And then where's the spoils of war? They changed it all. Is that under resources? Yeah, it's under resources. Alright. Yeah, I always get the spoils of war here because those event keys really are a great resource to have. So that's the thing, is this week the event kingdom is Darkstone. Darkstone right down here. So if you go into your chest and you look at event keys, it says Darkstone troops. So any event keys that you open this week will have a chance to get the Darkstone troops. And there's some good ones. So let's go check them out here. What am I looking at? Troop types. I want kingdoms here. Darkstone, show all, base rarity. And so we have 2 mythics from Darkstone. And then we have 3 legendary cards from Darkstone. The Possessed King is one of the best mythics in the game. It will do damage to all enemies. And then it will have 3 separate 20% chances to transform a random enemy into a daemon. Now, it can work in your favor because some daemons aren't really that good, but some of them are good. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there with what it does with that. But it's really great feeling when it transforms a rope dart into a low-level demon. So yeah. But one of the things that makes this troop really special is the explode 2 random gems on a 4 or 5 gem match. That right there is amazing when you're using it in a team. So if you do have the Possessed King and you have it fully traded, you can add it to pretty much any team, and it will make that team better as far as mana generating goes. and it can do damage and disrupt. So really great mythic troop. Definitely within my top 10. Mother of Darkness is also pretty good, but it's not as good as the Possessed King. It does true damage to an enemy and the enemy below them, boosted by purple gems. And it's a 1-to-1 boost ratio, so if you have 10 purple gems on the board, it will do an extra 10 true damage. Now, this is going to happen to 2 enemies, but it's targeted, so you should be able to still... technically, I think you should still be able to target stealthy enemies, because you can hit an enemy above it as long as it's not stealthy as well, and then it will hit the enemy below it. So you can kind of like secondary get a stealthy enemy. But if the enemy dies, it generates 12 purple gems. Now, it's not generating mana for itself, so it's meant to be used with other troops that have purple. But it says otherwise summon 2 Sisters of Shadows. So if an enemy doesn't die and there's an open space in your team, it will summon up to 2 Sisters of Shadows. So that's pretty interesting. As for its traits, it does have stealthy, and it will inflict bleed on all enemies when matching 4 or more gems. And bleed does true damage to an enemy at the beginning of each turn, and bleed can always stack up to 4 times. So that's some true damage there going on to enemies. So it's not a bad mythic troop. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it's probably, you know, I'm kind of working on a mythic tier list right now, so I'm thinking about all of where I would put these troops. But I don't know what number I would assign this to, but I'm thinking it's maybe in the top 20 mythics. I haven't finalized anything yet, but it's not bad, but it's not the best ever either. So maybe the word I'm looking for is an average mythic. But the Possessed King is definitely worth opening some event keys this week, I think, because it is without a doubt one of the best mythics. Okay, so now let's take a look at the legendaries here. I already mentioned Gruz the Undefeated because he's in the Soulforge. I don't think he's even worth getting. But Magnus here is pretty good. Does damage to all enemies, boosted by diseased and poisoned enemies, then disease and poison all enemies. The final trait here, inflict a random status effect on a 4 or 5 gem matches. That is really good. If you can get a consistent a lot of 4 or 5 matches, because it'll put silence on enemies, it'll web them, it'll disease them, it'll do all sorts of nasty things. And as you can see, this is still like a glitch or an error. Somebody that wrote or did the graphics for this put an extra space in here. That's been there for I don't know, years. I've seen it for a long time, and you know, I guess the devs, you know, they don't care about the extra little space there. But you know, there's more important things to to do for them, like give us, you know, new mythic troops and legendary troops and all that. Anyway, so Scion here used to be a really great legendary troop. It's kind of fallen off a little bit now, but it's still okay. You know, draining mana is it's annoying, but it doesn't really win you the battle. It can help you win if you have other troops that can do enough damage. This one doesn't do a lot of damage. It's meant more of just like a disruptor, stealing that mana. But that's a possible troop to get. Other good troops here in this kingdom to get are the Sea Troll, and Thrall is really good as long as you can get your magic up there pretty high like I do, 29. For a low 6 mana cost, you can basically match 29 gems. So those are the really great ones. Now, some of these all-seeing eye troops, you get that down in the underworld. So you'll have to go down there and do your delves, get some shards, and then you can use your shards to get these all-seeing eye troops. And some of them are pretty good, actually. Like, watch Mother here, 11 mana cost, and it gives all other allies 30 life boosted by green gems, and it can actually summon 2 different types of troops. But giving that life to all allies, and it's a pretty low mana cost, so that's a good troop. This one, I think, steals attack. Yep. Explode 4 gems, steal attack from the first enemy. Starts with 50% mana. That's a pretty good one. And then we have, of course, the legendary card for that faction. It'll deal damage to the first 2 enemies and transform yellow gems to skulls to boost the damage. So that's a pretty good troop as well. But so yeah, I would say definitely try to get the Possessed King and the event keys if you can. And you know, I wouldn't mind having a second one. So I've had a lot of luck on my new playthrough account opening keys on video. So I think I'm going to open 50 of these and just see what my luck brings. And then we'll go take a look at the new event. Here we go, 50. I'm not going to sit here and watch them all. I like to watch the first few, and then I'll just skip. We got 2 Scion. Like, really? Really? Okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't push my luck then. We will continue to save keys, but it would be nice. I already have a I already have the Possessed King and the Mother of Darkness. So, but it would be interesting to have 2 Possessed Kings. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Anyway, didn't work out for me. That's okay. Plenty of time to get a second one in the future. So let's head over here to the event. From the Depths is what it's called. From the Depths. And yeah, let's go to the shop here. So we basically can buy some things here. And then there is the weapon. So this weapon looks like it's pretty interesting. It'll cleanse and give life to all allies. And then it summons an all-seeing eye troop. 14 mana cost, red and purple. But the fact that it's cleansing and giving life to all allies is really fantastic. And then it can summon an all-seeing eye troop. So it doesn't generate mana. This is kind of similar to the, what's that weapon? The, is it also called something with eye? Jar of Eyes. That's what it's called. I don't know why I couldn't think of it for a second there. But yeah, Jar of Eyes is the weapon for that faction. And that one explodes brown gems and then it creates an ice storm. But it can also summon a all-seeing eye troop. So this is similar in the sense that it summons an all-seeing eye troop, but it doesn't generate any mana. It's just cleansing and giving life, which is still pretty good, but I wouldn't rate it as high as the Jar of Eyes. I think it's still worth getting, though, for the gems, and since you're going to be playing the event anyway, you might as well, if you can afford here to get it, I would recommend doing so. I'm just going to go and buy all these here. And of course we're getting our badges here for the event, which are special badges that's going to give us extra boost to damage. There we go. We got the Chalice of Eyes. And now we should have a medal. All-Seeing Eye medal. Okay. Let's go and see here. I guess I should go equip my medals. So that's my normal medal setup, but we're gonna go ahead and switch here to yeah, we're gonna put the All-Seeing Eye medal in here, and this one gives 160% skull and spell damage for all troops in the current event. That's cool. So the first event that we had like this, it was just skull damage to all troops. Then we did one that was just spell damage, and now we're doing one that is boosting both skull and spell damage. That allows us to have a little bit better more variety of teams that we can build, because we can put in some troops that have skulls and do a lot of damage just as well as doing spell damage. So basically here what I did was I'm putting in one of these for the event, and then I'm doing a 4 magic boost for my medal of... I have 1 medal Anisha so far. I have 2 tokens over here. These things are hard to get, but I'm working towards getting 3 of them eventually. That's the goal anyway. So I'm doing a medal of Anu. Well, that's kind of going to be useless anyway, though, because of because we bought all those potions, so it's going to be enchanted and all that. So I don't need the 20% start. I think I'm just going to replace the Medal of Anu with, yeah, we'll just put one of these Medal of Seasons on there. That gives me 4 attack, life, and armor to all troops. And then we got the magic boost, 4 to magic. And then we got our 160% boost. So we got all that. Let's go in and see what kind of team we can create. And of course here we got the same system going on that we did with the last 2 events like this, where we have these different rooms that you can fight, and the colors represent the rarity. So orange here is legendary, and the blues are, I don't know if it's rare, and then purple's like ultra rare or epic or something like that. But yeah, it's based on rarity. I'm just going to go for legendary here to start out with. And let's see. Troop restrictions. It needs to be a mage, warlock, and the mana color needs to be purple. What? Okay. That's going to be harder for new players. What are they doing? Like, that's really restrictive. Is there really that many troops to choose from? Oh, okay. Okay, they don't all need to be from Darkstone. I was thinking that it had to also be from Darkstone, and I was like, what? We're going to have, like, barely any troops to use. Okay, so it's a little better than I thought at first. A little better than I thought. Alright, let's do base rarity here, see what we're working with. Okay, so for mythics that are available for this event, we have the Arachnian Weaver, we have Elamagrum, we have Infernus, Obsidius, Skady, Suna, the Grey King, the Possessed King, Will of Nisha, Zathanos, Yasmin's Chosen. Those are the mythics that we have. That's quite a few mythics, actually, for this event to choose from. For legendary troops, we have Draco's Leet, we have Lust, we have La Raza, we have Magnus, Medea, Scion, Queen Mab, Queen Titania, and then we have an Imp, Spooky Imp is available, Starflower, the Widow Queen, Umbra Wolf if we need to do a Dark Storm every single turn, or La Raza here is also available for that Madness Storm, blue and purple. I think I'm going to make a team with either one of those. But yeah, so then we got Vanya Soulmorn is also a legendary troop from the Underworld. So that's pretty much the legendaries. And we also have some other troops down here that could be useful. Sunbird is in here. That might be useful for some people. Yeah, alright. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So, building a team. Let's see. Do I want to even use the weapon? So the weapon is restricted to purple. It has to be purple, whatever you're using. So if you have the doomed weapon for purple, you could use that because skull damage is 160%. There's also a few class weapons here. We have the Creeping Death as a class weapon. We have the Fiend Fire as a class weapon. Reflection of Good is a class weapon. That's we could use that. Black Manacles is good. Here's the Chalice of Eyes. Let's go ahead and see what's in here for... okay, so basically if we upgrade this, it's going to disease the first enemy and enchant itself. I do like weapons that enchant itself after you cast it. Let's upgrade that. Okay, so it will enchant itself. So there's lots of cleanse, lots of life going on, and it has the ability to summon. But I don't think that troop or that weapon is going to be really amazing, other than keeping your troops alive and cleansed. But we have life and death. We could use that. Like, wow. We have life and death. The Secrets of the Crypt is available as well. Like, Trickster Shot is available. We imagine... Oh my gosh, this would be so overpowered in this event, Trickster Shot, because it's going to eliminate armor and it's going to turn it into its magic. And with the metal that we have on, that's going to give us 160% magic damage. Trickster Shot is probably going to be the best weapon for this event. But Life and Death is going to also be powerful, for sure. Since we're using purple, the class is probably... you can really use any class with this event, it looks like. But Archmagus here is going to give you the 2 bonus to purple. So that's probably a great class to use. I still don't have it up to 100. I'm trying to get it to 70 because that's where Lightning Strike is. Right here. So I should use it for this event. Banner, obviously we're going to want some purple in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and put the Possessed King in there. Let's throw in La Raza. And then do we have any generators? If only Leprechaun was considered a mage, and what was the other restriction? Warlock and mage? Yeah, so we don't really have... Well, to start out with, Sunbird is going to be fantastic, so something like that. I just wish we had a mana generator, something that could explode or convert gems. I mean, we have the Storm. Yeah, there's a lot of good troops here. Infernus, Obsidius is great. You also got the Blue Storm, the Ice Storm with Skady. You could do Ice Storm with Skady. You could do Madness Storm, which is blue or purple with La Raza. Or you could do just a Dark Storm for purple with Umberwolf. Like, lots of mana potential with those. Anyway, let's just start with this team. This is going to be so easy to start out with. As soon as the Sunbird gets powered up, it's just going to be over. Well, I guess it does help that I have potions, because that's going to explode the board early on, and I'm going to get all this mana coming down, so that's cool. I guess I could just cast this, but Sunbird is always fun to watch it. Resurrect. Ooh. Kind of creepy. I got an eyeball. Mystic Eye. I guess that's the new thing we're supposed to collect in this event. I didn't even read the thing. I don't know if you guys want me to read this thing or not, but it's kind of the lore of the event. So yeah, I don't know. It's there. You guys can read it if you want. I usually don't. I usually skip story and lore and all that when it comes to this game. But yeah, I'm just going to go in here. You know, this is basically the team I'm going to go with, I guess. Let me just go in here and look and see if we do have a generator. So Mage and Warlock are the 2 that it's restricted to. Oh, they don't have an option where I can pick generator? Oh, okay. So, yeah, Mage and Warlock. Yeah, of course I can't pick Generator because that's a separate troop role. Let's just take a quick look here and see if there are any troops. Well, Infernus is going to explode gems once you cast it. Obsidius would generate some mana. Yeah. The Great King, yeah, would generate some mana, but not right away. Yasmin's Chosen is going to create a bunch of green mana. Let's see here. Is there any troops at all? Well, we got the Blind Guardian, which can explode a gem. I guess we could test that out. But it's not going to start with full mana or half mana or anything close to what I'm thinking of as a mana generator. Create brown gems. Yeah, I guess we don't really have too much for mana generation other than the storms with the 3 troops available for that. So, yeah, you know, I'll probably stick with this team until it gets too difficult, and then I'll switch over to Trickster Shot because I think that's going to be really overpowered. But yeah, anyway, thanks guys for watching. That's basically it, you know. I think I gave you guys a pretty good idea of like what teams you could use, what troops. If you don't have Umberwolf and you don't have Skady, I would recommend going down to the underworld and see if you can get this troop, La Raza, because it will create a purple blue storm, which is going to be really good for this event because you're going to be using troops that only use purple. And if you select some that also use blue, it'll be really good. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next video as always. Later.